know that you're not alone in the fact that you might fear failing. You're not alone in that, and also know that you can and should ask for help. Welcome to the Creatively Performing Arts Podcast. This is the show for anyone ready to get back to the performing arts. You want to sing, you want to act, you want to dance, you want to be creative again? Come on over. I'm Estelle. I'm a singer, actor, performer, beginner voice coach, and I am here to help you get started. You will find beginner singing and performing tips and hear empowering, inspiring interviews with artists that will help you push past your fear and your doubts about performing so you can finally start performing with confidence and singing and dancing and living creatively. You have gifts that you need to grow, use, and share, and the world is waiting for you. I want to be there to help you do that. So let's begin. Hi guys, welcome back to the podcast. I am excited that you're here. This is Estelle here. I'm gonna jump right into the episode today because I don't know, I've been putting things off and not really focusing as much on the podcast, but you're like, Estelle, you've been posting every week. Yes, of course, but I haven't been as focused as I would want to be on just putting out the content that I want to put out on here, and also listening to you guys about what you want to hear. So yeah, and I'm going to explain why, and it's going to be a learning lesson for all of us. So before I jump into that, I do want to let you know that starting May 8th, the Confident Performer Club, for this next month is open. That's when it'll be the last time that you can sign up, right, for the Confident Performer Club, for anyone wanting to really make the time to sing your favorite songs, to start singing your own songs, or just singing in general with confidence, right? And it's about building confidence. It's not about being perfect right off the bat, because no one is, least of all me, your beginner voice coach in the group, okay? I want to bring in people who are more advanced than me to teach us all. I want it to be a place where we can all feel like we can make mistakes and get back up again, and really take messy and imperfect action to build confidence over time as singers, as performers, and to feel supported in that, which I'll get into in a little bit, because today's episode is to remind you that you are not alone. But before we get into that officially, I want to really invite you that if you want to really be more creative, you want to live creatively, right? This is what this show is about. And you want to do that by starting to sing and perform with more confidence and really consistently. The link is in the show notes. In this program, in this group, it's a monthly membership. Each month you get 2 virtual singing classes where you're going to get feedback. It's a small group, so you're going to get feedback one-on-one. So it's basically getting a voice lesson, but there are other people. And then you also get your own private 30-minute voice lesson every month. And then you get discounts on other singing classes. You also just get to be in the room where it happens. If there are any master classes, if I have any performing artists who I'm doing interviews with, and maybe I ask them to do a workshop, that type of thing, on singing, on performing, on dancing, on songwriting. It could be so many different topics, and you'll get to let me know what you want to hear from them. So that's the idea for the group, to help us all build confidence as singers and performers. So yeah, it starts by taking those small steps of action, and it helps to not be alone in doing that. So go to creativelybyestelle.com/confident, and let's get to building that confidence, okay? All right, so today's episode. This episode came out of me realizing this past week how much I've been struggling to say no to things that keep me from my big yeses, and therefore end up leading to overwhelm, because I'm just doing all these different things, including the things that I want to be doing, but I'm not giving as much time to the things that I want to be doing, because I'm doing all these other things that I don't really want to be doing as much. And yes, there are seasons in life where there are seasons that are just busier than others naturally. I'm definitely in one of those, but at the same time, I know that I can tend to not say yes, or to not say no to the things that I want to, and then I also struggle with sometimes asking for help. And those are big things that I feel like artists in general, we all need to do. Like, we all need to implement, because, the arts, like, if you are wanting to grow in this skill and this gift that you have, that's it, something that you're saying yes to. And there are things that you're going to have to say no to as well. And for me, this looked like me planning a bridal shower, a couple shower really, for one of my closest friends and her fiance this past, literally yesterday, because I'm recording this on Saturday. And it was so beautiful. But like, throughout these last few weeks, I've been like working on it. But I've also been saying yes to other things that maybe I shouldn't have. That just took a lot of my time from focusing on the things that I would have liked to focus on, including, of course, like singing and performing, this podcast, growing as an artist, working on my voice certificate that I have been working on, and of course, like, in addition to work and church, and also like my relationship with God, making sure that I'm spending time with Him, spending time meditating on the Word of God, and like all these things. And also like relationships, friendships, right? These are the things that I want to say yes to. But when I say, like, my big yeses to, but when I say yes to other little things that might be good, but maybe aren't really essential or really benefiting to me in this season, then there have been struggles, there have been challenges. It's led to a lot of overwhelm because then I'm doing so many things. And I really had to reassess this week, especially because it was so crazy. And I realized that because of this overwhelm, because I've like said yes to so many things outside of what like my core things right now. What are my core focuses right now? My relationship with God, my relationship with the people in my life that I'm close to, and of course work, because it was supposed to be part-time at first. It's become more. I'm working on cutting down my hours because I really want to focus on one of my other core things right now, which is my business and my career as a performing artist. Auditioning, working on my lines, working on my voice certificate. And these are things that are important to me. Like, this is important to the person that I want to be and where I feel like God is leading me to. And sometimes I just get distracted by other things that are fun and great, but aren't really like a part of my like core things right now. And yeah, I'm just realizing that and wanting to reassess, and that's okay. Like, we need to reassess sometimes. I think I get into these seasons where I'm saying no to things that are not essential, but then you kind of just slip back into being a people pleaser and wanting to not hurt people's feelings when they invite you to things or when they ask you to do things, and all these other things, which those are important, and it's good to help people and it's good to do all that stuff. But we also need to remember, like, what are we really focused on in this season? And as anyone, if you're listening, who you're aspiring to be an artist like I am, you're wanting to perform more, you're wanting to take those steps of action to start singing, to start putting yourself out there, then yeah, you might have to say no to some things to take that time to take a voice lesson, to take that time to, record yourself singing a song and posting it online, right? You might have to say no to some things so that you can do the things that you really love to do. And that kind of goes along with the other thing that I learned from this experience of planning this couple shower, which was that I realized, like, literally the week of, that I hadn't really asked for help. I hadn't stopped to ask for help. I thought that I was in it alone. I thought that I was on my own and I had to do everything myself. And I realized that, like, for me, it can be easy to really want something so badly, like to want to be the best that I can be so badly and to do something really well, but I fear failing, and I just want to just do all that I can do to make it as good as it can be, hoping to avoid being seen failing. And if I ask for help, then it's like, oh, I'm failing, I'm struggling. That's not true at all. But I think it's something that it's a thought that I have in my mind, and it's something that I need to recalibrate, because it's not true. Like, we need help. We need to ask for help, especially as creative people. When we're aspiring to be an artist, auditioning, that takes time, that takes work, right? Prepping your audition material, working, if you're on a play, like right now, like learning my lines and reviewing my lines, I haven't been doing it as much as I needed to, and it's been a struggle in some rehearsals sometimes because of that. And it's because I'm pulling myself in different directions and I'm not asking for help in the things that I should be asking for help in, so that I can direct my focus to the things that I really love and want to focus on in my career, and in the things that I know that I'm gifted in and I want to grow in this season. And so I just want us all, we can all learn from my experience, to ask for help when you are trying something new, or when you are trying something new, especially. Like, it's not easy. And you might need to ask for help in other areas of your life so that you can take that voice lessons, that you can do that new thing, try that dance class, right? Go for that audition. You might need to ask for support in another area of your life so that you can focus on the thing that you want to do more. And you just need that reminder that you are not alone, that you can ask for help, that it does not mean you are a failure, right? We can get caught in people pleasing, right? Not wanting to bother anyone, not wanting to say, oh, I need someone else's help. And what if they don't like me because I'm asking for them to do this task that I could just do it myself? Like, yes, you could do that task, that chore yourself, but you could also ask for a family member to help you out so that you can then go and, work on that song that you've been wanting to work on, right? Or something else. I don't know. That was just what came to my mind because I live with my family. Or you could ask for help in some other area. Like, just think about how you can ask for help and not feeling like you're bothering anyone by asking for help, because they can say no just like you can say no as well. And I just want to encourage all of us that we might have a fear of failing, and we are not alone. You are not alone, okay? You just heard me say that I was afraid that I would be seen as like, oh, I'm struggling, I don't have it all together, I don't have everything together, that's why I'm asking for help. Which, of course, I don't have everything together. I'm not God. Gosh dang it. Like, am I supposed to have everything together? Am I supposed to hold the entire world together with my bare hands? No, I don't need to, right? So I also fear that failing sometimes, but it's not failing to lean on other people. And so as you're taking steps of action, as you're starting to sing, as you're starting to grow as a performer, as an artist, know that you're not alone in the fact that you might fear failing. You're not alone in that. And also know that you can and should ask for help. As you're taking small steps of action, as you are growing, as you are putting yourself out there, as you're doing whatever it is that you do creatively, take those small steps of actions, take them, do it. But also, lean on people in your community, know that you're not alone, and reach out for help. I guess that's something that I'm telling myself too. And I've started doing that literally literally this week, because I realized how much I needed to. And I finally asked for help, and thank God I did. Because everything came together really beautifully for the shower, and it was really lovely, and I just thank God that it worked out. But imagine if I had asked for help earlier, maybe I would have been less stressed. Anyway, just a reminder to us all to take action, and also know that it's not up to you to make sure that everything works out perfectly. It's not all on you. You can rest in community. So I hope that encourages you. All I want to do is help you. I want to inspire you. I want this to be inspirational, not aspirational, because I don't even know everything that I'm doing. I'm still in process, but I want to be inspired. And I am trying to hype myself up, encourage myself, motivate myself. Doing these interviews motivates me, helps me. And I want it to help you too. I just want to bring you along the journey. And I hope that's how it feels. If you feel like you have questions or you want to see other aspects of the journey, leave a review in Apple Podcasts, and I will look into that. I will read that and respond. Okay, I will respond accordingly. And if for any reason if you have any other questions or comments, DM me. Any thoughts on this at all? Any thoughts on asking for help, saying no to the things that you don't want to do, and saying yes to things you really, really want to do, like any thoughts of that whatsoever, please send me a DM on Instagram at Estelle Avberry. I would love to hear from you. I get so excited whenever I get any DMs from anyone who's listened to the podcast. So please send me a DM. You can also screenshot this and repost. Like, just let me know what you think of the show. All right, so before we close, I want to read a question from the Facebook group, the Performing Arts Community, which join the Performing Arts Community or find me on Instagram or TikTok, because we have some community there where you can like meet other people. Also, you can also just join the Confident Performer Club, Confident Performer Group at creativelybystelle.com/confident to find a group there, to find a community there to lean on. All right, so one of the questions that was in the Facebook group that I really loved was asking about how do you memorize lines well? Which is so ironic because I literally had a rehearsal today where I absolutely stumbled through every one of my lines. Yay! But that's what rehearsal is for, right? Right. So, anywho, no, but actually, like, got prepared with your lines to rehearsal. But at the same time, like, you might stumble through them because it's different when you're doing it by yourself versus when you're doing it with scene partners and the directors are there, and you're figuring out blocking, which we were doing. So yeah, well, they had done some blocking, but I wasn't there for when they did the initial blocking. Anyway, the point is that I'm not the perfect person, but I will tell you how I have, what has really helped me with memorizing lines. And honestly, I did not do this with these particular lines, so that's why I struggled a little bit, because I just memorized them like by the book, like reading out loud and whatnot. So what I do to memorize lines that really, really works for me and is always helpful to me, is recording myself on my voice notes app on my phone, reading the lines with different scenes with there are different types. Okay, there's one recording where it's mine and the other character's lines, right? So I'm reading both of our lines, and it's basically like I'm not really doing a ton of inflection, but I can be changing voices. It doesn't really matter. Sometimes I usually will say like the other character's name before their line, so that when I'm listening back, I know who is saying that part and that it's not my lines. But then I'll just like leave a pause before it's my line, and I won't say my name, the name of my character. Do you know what I mean? So I'll read out the lines, and I might jump around. Like if the previous character has a long monologue, like I'm not gonna read the entire monologue. I'll just say like etc., etc. And I'm just like having fun with it, and I'll read through the entire scene, and that'll be that. And then that way I can go back and listen to the scene. So I've read the scene, of course. I can now listen to it when I'm driving, when I'm doing other tasks, and it's like constantly running. So I can hear like the previous lines as well as my lines. So I know my cues and I know my lines. And then the second recording that I do for each scene is that I also record one with only the other character's lines and a blank for when I'm reading my lines. So I will literally record it, and then I will leave a pause where I'm like mouthing the words to myself, how I would say it, so that I leave ample enough space so that when I listen to it again, there are all these long pauses in between where it's supposed to be my lines, so that when I listen to it, I can practice with it. Off book, I can just listen to the recording and say my lines where the pauses are, if that makes sense. So that way I know my cues even better. So that's like the next level of like memorization. So the first level is reading everything and then listening to everything, and then from there playing the recording where there are pauses for me to say my lines. And that just really helps me to actively learn my lines and also hear the cues. Again, I did not do this for today's particular scene, and it showed, honey. It really showed. I'm not even gonna lie. So I'm going to do it so that I can be better at the next rehearsal. But that helps me a lot. You can also use, there's this app there's this app. There's this app called ScriptRehearser, which is amazing. You can import a PDF of your script and it will like read out the other person's lines for you. There are different settings you can choose where you have them read everything. You can have them read just the other person's lines, and they do different voices, etc. So you can do that. It's less time consuming because you don't have to like record everything. But not all, I don't know, like not everything can be downloaded. I struggled with my last script, and I just like emailed their customer service and they helped me like do it really quickly, so that was nice. So they have good customer service from my experience, but I just didn't do it for this one because it wasn't working and I just couldn't be bothered. But so I just did my classic way of like my notes app. But yes, ScriptRehearser is an option. And the final most classic way is to run lines with the scene partner or another person. So my friend and understudy and castmate she and I have been helping each other run lines where we will alternate lines. We work together to help support each other. So you can find a scene partner, you can find another person who can read the opposite person's lines for you so that you can, test yourself on your lines. And that's a great way to do it because then you can practice actually reading the lines with another person. So those are the three options. Recording your lines on a notes app. You can do it all the way through, and you can also leave space for you to read your lines when you're listening back. The second option is to use ScriptRehearser, which is an app, and I'm sure that there are other apps out there too. And then the third option is to find a scene partner and another person to run lines with. So those are great ways to help you learn lines, and I hope that helps for anyone who is starting to act again, who's starting to act for the first time, and you need help on running lines. I hope that helps. Again, we all need support. So that's what this podcast is here for. That's what the Facebook group is here for. That's what this Confident Performer group that I talked about before is here for. Like, I want to offer support for all of us to thrive in using our gifts and living creatively. So I hope that this has helped you. I hope that this has inspired you. Thank you so much for being here. And let me know what you think of this show. Leave a review. It seriously helps so much more than you know. And I would love to hear from you. DM me on Instagram anytime. Let's go. Have an amazing week. And let me know if you implement any of this, like asking for help. Let me know how that went for you. And if you implemented any of these tips for learning lines, let me know how that went. I'd love to hear if you're like in a show. DM me and we can chat. All right. Thank you for being here. Have an amazing day. Keep living creatively. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode and to this show. I'm in awe of you for being here and showing up for your creative gifts. That takes courage. Don't forget to join the performing arts community on Facebook to find support and inspiration. If this episode helped you or inspired you in any way, please leave a review on Apple Podcasts. It means so much. And share it with someone who needs it. Or on your Instagram stories and tag at Creatively Performing Arts. Don't forget to subscribe to this show wherever you listen. We have amazing interviews and episodes coming up. Thank you again, and don't forget to keep singing, acting, dancing, performing, and living creatively. Talk to you next time.